Hi, I'm Greg Dell with Dell Disability Lawyers, here with attorney Alexander Palomara. And today's disability benefit tip, Alex, is can a long-term disability lawyer prevent a long-term disability benefit denial? And, it's an interesting question. We can't guarantee that a claim is not going to be denied, but I want to get into in this video why we're in the best suited position to help a person keep themselves in the best position to not only get approved, but avoid a denial. So when someone calls you and they say, look, I'm on claim, I'm not sure what's going on with this disability insurance company, they sent me this application, or they're asking me for this claim form or that claim form, what's one of the first things that you want to know that allows you to help that claimant to keep their benefits from being denied?
Well, first and foremost, if you hire us, I'm going to put your case in the best light possible for your claim. The first thing you need when you take on a new case is you need to see a copy of the policy. The policy is going to give the parameters of the claim. It's in written form. It's set in stone. It's for you. That's what it's telling you what the parameters of your claim is. It's telling the insurance company what the parameters of your claim is, and everyone's playing by the same rules that's in this policy. Now, the policy was written by the insurance company, so sometimes they're written in favor of the insurance company, but no matter what, they have to stick to those four corners of that policy. So you need to know the terms and conditions of your policy, and a big term you need to know is what it means to be disabled under the policy. That's the most important thing. That's what you need to prove to the insurance company, that you're unable to perform the duties of your own occupation or unable to perform the duties of any occupation. You need to know specifically how it's defined, because that's the most important thing of your claim. And then what we do is we take your medical records, or we take whatever we need for your claim to prove that definition of disability, to ensure that you're either get on claim or remain on claim.
So why is it so important when a claimant, I want to get into what goes on in your mind. When someone calls you, I know right away is you say, tell me what's going on. But right as they start, 4 words into it, you say, but wait, who's your company? Right. Why do you want to know that?
Every company is a little bit different. Some companies make my eyes roll a little bit harder. When I hear a certain company, I'm like, oh, geez, this is going to be a fight. But I know what these companies need. I know what they want. I've probably handled, at this point, a couple thousand cases at the very least that I've taken on, and probably reviewed 10,000 denial letters, a case that we either couldn't take on or decided not to take on for whatever reason. So I see what the disability insurance companies do on a regular basis. And I know what each of them are kind of unique in the sense of what they need. Sometimes they need forms once a month. Pain in the rear end, but we have to get it done. Sometimes they leave clients alone for years on end, and they can kind of get you to a feeling of, the relaxation state where you forget to keep on sending additional records or additional proof of your claim. So you need to know what the strategies are from the different insurance companies to ensure that they don't ever get, any reason to deny a claim.
So what I want people to understand about having a long-term disability lawyer who's, handling your claim is that as soon as they call and they say, I'm with Hartford, I'm with Unum, I'm with Prudential, or whoever the company is, right away in our mind it jogs. First of all, we see the different carriers' behaviors every single day. But the other thing is from handling so many denials or applications or lawsuits, we know the internal training of the disability claim rep and their managers who are going to review the file. Every single company, as you stated, has different requirements and different ways of behaving. So when we look at a claim form, or an attending physician statement, or the company wants to interview the claimant, there's a different strategy for every company in terms of how we're going to fill that claim form out. And it goes beyond just the claim forms. Talk about the way in which you guide your clients to have their medical records documented in order to put them in the best position to avoid a denial.
Well, a few things. Going back to their training, sometimes I think some of these insurance company employees are undertrained, or they ignore their training, and they set traps for you. When you have these interviews, they set traps for you, or they're filling out the attending physician statements. There's questions in there that are traps for your doctors. So you have to specifically speak with your doctors, and we'll speak with your doctors to let them know how to answer these questions. A doctor might just willy-nilly fill out a form in 2 minutes. And that, he might be thinking that he's supporting your claim or she's supporting your claim for benefits. And lo and behold, the insurance company utilizes one check mark or one, reply to a question to deny the claim.
But what do you do with your clients on the attending physician statements? Those are requested at a minimum every 6 months,
Correct.
If not every 3 months.
Well, every case is a little bit different. Some doctors don't want to talk to me. Some doctors will take the time to speak with me. I always send them a letter indicating, hey, this form needs to fill out. Here's what you need to know about this claim. Here's what you need to know about the insurance company. Here's what you need to know about this form. And if you want my assistance in filling out the form, I'm available at your convenience. I always offer a phone call to the doctor,
Right.
and I follow up with a phone call to make sure they received our fax, to make sure that if the doctor's available, I'm available at his convenience or her convenience, even after hours. I'm always available because the doctors are very busy people. Sometimes they don't have their time to get to the paperwork until late at night. I'm always available to talk to that doctor. Sometimes our clients have to set up that appointment as well, or sometimes the clients have to go in there
Right.
themselves at a appointment, a typical appointment, and bring the forms with them. Sometimes the client will call me on the phone, from the examination room. Sometimes the client just has to explain to the doctor what I told them beforehand. So I'll either have a pre-meeting with my client before they go to this appointment. I'll try my best to get the doctor on the phone to go over this form, just because there's a lot of traps in these forms and a lot of traps in what the different insurance companies do.
And why do you always tell your clients, make sure that form comes to me before it goes to the insurance company?
So we need to see what's in that form. We need to know, first and foremost, we need to know what's going to the insurance company so we know how to combat it. If something in that form is wrong, I want to know what's being sent to the insurance company. So if it is sent to the insurance company with something wrong, I know how to, I have a defense ready if the insurance company comes back at us or tries to deny the claim. Or I want to know what's in that form to make sure it's good to go to the insurance company.
Yeah.
I'm the last stop before
Right.
it actually gets sent to the insurance company. So I want to make sure that this form is filled out correctly. If there's something questionable that I think maybe the doctor didn't intend to say this or intend to check mark that box, I want to go back to the doctor and say one last time, hey, did you mean this? Because this could be interpreted this way. And maybe we want to expand upon this a little bit more. And more often than not, the doctor says, I didn't mean it that way. And I explain to them that's a trap set by the insurance company. And here's what we need to do to fix it. And more often than not, the doctor will fix it.
And that's one of the big prevent techniques that we talk about in protecting benefits for our clients. But how often do you see that form, so there's a couple things that happen. Number one, that form can sometimes be filled out by a nurse who's trying to help, and then it's just stuck in front of the doctor for the doctor to sign. And doctors are signing things all day long. The other thing that happens, unfortunately, is that the insurance companies reach out directly to the doctors and send claim forms behind the back of the claimant. Now, when we represent clients, we tell the insurance companies, don't go to the doctors without contacting our office first. And we tell the claimants, our clients, tell the doctor, if you ever get anything from the insurance company, I have a lawyer who's helping me because these insurance companies are known to try to screw people. My lawyer will help you to fill out that form and is available to answer any of your questions. So it's a great intermediary to have a long-term disability lawyer who, when a claimant can say to the doctor, look, I have someone who specializes in this. I'm doing it to protect myself because if my benefits get cut off, I don't know how I'm going to pay the bills next month. So please take their help or their support in filling this out. And the doctors love it. I mean, I would say 90% out of the time, because otherwise they're not experts in filling out these forms. They're just like, look, I'm here to treat you and make you feel better and function and get through every day and enjoy your life. I'm not here to fill out this paperwork. So if you have guidance for me or something to help, then great. In terms of the documentations in the medical records, because we spoke about the claim form, some companies don't even ask for attending physician statements. They just request medical records on their own, which they're allowed to do, and a claimant signs an authorization. So how do you coach or guide your clients to prepare the medical records, to talk to their doctors? What do you do?
They have to talk to the doctors and explain to the doctors that the medical documentation is the proof of my claim. The only way I'm going to remain on claim is by having the medical records be supportive. And they have to talk to the doctors to be careful what they write in those medical records, because I see it all the time where insurance companies deny claims just because the word normal's in there, or something like that. So even though the doctor means well, sometimes they have to leave certain things out because the insurance companies will run away with it. Or sometimes they have to add things in there. It's so important to document your conditions, that even if you've been suffering for the last 5 years, you have to always mention them in the updated medical records, and because we have to prove that your claim is ongoing, that your conditions are ongoing. Maybe they're progressing, maybe they're not progressing, but even if they're not progressing, it's always good for all your complaints to be mentioned in those medical records. So even if your doctor doesn't ask you sometimes, maybe give them that information so they make sure that they put it into the medical records. And always talk to your doctor. Explain to them again that this is the only proof that you have of your claim, and these medical records has to be as precise as possible to prove to the insurance company that you are disabled or remain disabled.
Well, Alex, what happens with a lot of these claims is our clients it's called long-term disability claims, and they're on benefits for a long period of time, years, I mean, tens of years, a long time, as long as they need it, and the policies often end at age 65. But they have long-term relationships with their doctors. And the normal of when a claimant who's been suffering but gets to a baseline where they can manage their symptoms, but not to the point where my symptoms are so under control that I can go work for 40 hours a week, commit to someone for 8 hours a day, but they go to the doctor and the doctor says, how do you feel? They say, okay. But what is the okay baseline for someone who's been suffering for 5 years versus the okay baseline for someone who's totally healthy and goes for a doctor checkup and says, how do you feel? I feel okay. Because the okay for the person who's been disabled for 5 years would be a disaster for the okay person who had nothing going on. But that's the new norm for the disabled person. And the doctor and the patient have a relationship where the doctor knows your okay means we have things managed, meaning you're still fatigued every day, you're still in pain, you still may need naps, you still may need help, you still may have cognitive difficulties. All those things have been going on, but it's not necessarily deteriorating, it's not getting better, but it's okay. And that's the part where if they say something's normal or no new complaints or whatever, but what the disability insurance company does is they manipulate those medical records and go, no complaints today, patient came in and said everything was okay. So talk about for a minute about a symptom log or a pain diary and why that is something that could always keep a claimant from making sure that their medical records are documenting all their complaints.
Because we can always utilize, one of those documents for our claim. Even if it's not in your medical records, I can always take one of those documents and send it to the insurance company ourselves. But the one thing you have to be careful, whether you're doing, a headache diary or something like that it has to be truthful, has to match. Because I have seen in the past where my client says, I had a headache on the 21st, nothing on the 22nd, and then a headache on the 23rd. I was down for the count the entire day. And then lo and behold, there's surveillance that catches them out on the 23rd. And that's severely detrimental to your claim because then you've lost, no one's going to trust you at that point. But if you're doing a correct pain diary or a correct headache diary, it can definitely be utilized for your claim because it goes to show how many days a month you're down for the count, and it proves that you can't do a job 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week on a consistent basis. But it has to be as truthful as possible. It has to match up to any surveillance they conduct. But it's a very important thing because it might not be in your medical records. You only see your doctor once every 3-4 months, maybe once every 6 months. But this diary can be utilized every single day of the month, every single month, and it shows how bad you are suffering.
It reminds me, because I always tell claimants, look, it's okay. You can have a good day, 2 or 3 good days. It's not 52 weeks a year, 40 hours a week commitment. That's fine. If you exaggerate something and they catch you on video or they catch you on, on Facebook or whatever, Instagram, showing some great thing and it's inconsistent with what you told your doctors or you told your insurance company of things you couldn't do, then you're going to have a problem. If you tell the truth, we can always deal with it. But at the same token, you have to go in and unfortunately express what's going on. You can't go in there also and be a warrior because now you've learned to live with your medical condition because that doesn't help either. So you have to be okay articulating, but don't cross the line where you're exaggerating something. And often you're on a painkiller or some kind of medication that's helping you to deal with your symptoms, but also giving you cognitive difficulties or multitasking or memory issues or things like that where you can't handle the responsibilities of a job. So point there is don't exaggerate anything like you were just saying because it's not going to help you. And a lot of times claimants, they get the claim forms, which we touched on. They don't know how to answer the question. Is it okay for me to say I can drive an hour? Is it okay to say I can walk? Is it okay to say I go grocery shopping? Is it okay to I go to dinner with my family or lift my 5-year-old or do whatever? I mean, is that okay or am I going to get denied? And so then they tend to err towards I better not say because I'm going to get denied. And that's where the long-term disability lawyer comes in and helps and tells you everything that is okay or not okay. And really doing everything we can to prevent. Now again, there's no guarantee, but we know what you can say where it's not going to be a problem in any situation. So we do offer this unique service, which is a monthly claim handling service. We also help people to apply right from the inception. The misconception is that you only need a lawyer if you get denied. No, the idea is it's a lot more affordable to get a lawyer up front who's vested in your claim, who keeps you on claim, than to try to hire one after you get denied because it is significantly more expensive to get a lawyer if you get denied. And there's a lot of law firms who don't even want to get involved in the early onset of applying or claim handling because they only want the money on the denial. And unfortunately, a lot more lawyers have jumped into trying to help claimants. And I say try to help claimants. They're really just looking to file appeals or lawsuits and get these lump sum settlements, and they're settling their claimants short. Our goal is we want to get them on claim and keep them on claim every month. Sure, our fees are a lot lower, but what's important is let's get everybody on claim, get them paid, and keep everyone happy and have them pay a nominal amount of money as opposed to getting denied and having to give up a lot or maybe end up with nothing. So if you're somebody who has a long-term disability claim, feel free to reach out to Alex, myself, or any of our other long-term disability lawyers. No matter where you live in the country, we're available to assist you, and we'll always provide you with an immediate free phone consultation. Hi, I'm Gregory Dell, the managing attorney of Dell Disability Lawyers, and I hope you find the video you just watched helpful. We put these videos out all of the time, and we'd love if you would subscribe to our YouTube channel. Beyond our videos on our YouTube channel, we also have lots of information available on our website at diattorney.com, and we encourage you to come to our website. The goal is that we want you to be educated about the disability insurance process, and when you get to our website, you'll see that we have information all about your specific disability insurance company, your occupation, and your medical condition. And we've designed our website such that you can easily search our website to find things that you may specifically be looking for. Now, at our website, we have thousands and thousands of pages of information, hundreds of videos that you can search, plus we're building a section of reviews of all the disability insurance companies, and we have the Ask Our Lawyer section where you can go ahead and ask us any questions that you may have. Now, we realize that you may not need us right now, but you may need us in the future to help you with your disability claim, and we think one of the best ways to keep in touch is by clicking the button below and subscribing to our channel. And most importantly, again, no matter where you live in the country, we're always available. Just go ahead and give us a call. We're happy to discuss your claim and let you know immediately if we can help you.